not foolish enough to stand around and go, I'll never eat that. I'll never drink that. I'll never take that. I'll never do that. You haven't been hungry and you haven't faced death if that's your attitude. Woe unto you when that day comes, because from what I understand, it's pretty darn bad. I am one hot mess out here working, out here in the heat, out here, like so many of you are doing right now, trying to get everything ready for winter, but I got a bee in my bonnet. Let's talk about that. Well, I know what this video is going to do because I know what I'm going to say. And trigger warning, crunchy, essential oil, herbal people, I'm about to piss you off. I said that. I think most of you have really good intentions. I just think some of them that claim to do all this stuff have really bad delivery. So I get that, but I'm drinking this is not iced tea. This is my Tutti Frutti little 8 green drink. 8 greens, I love those. I drink one every single day. So I'm going to be honest with you. I think some of you are doing more damage to people than you're doing good. That's probably like the 1%. So before you get so mad at me, you want to punch my little glasses off. I have that effect on people. I want you to hear me out. So this video is bouncing off the one that I just put up this morning, talking about and showing you that I went to the Dollar General and I bought me some over-the-counter medications in case people get sick. So let me tell you something right now. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, click off the channel. Go find yourself a tree and pick some pine cones. If you can get some nice little young green ones right now, you can start making stuff with them. Go do it. Okay? Here's the thing. I have made many videos, have done many conferences, paid for the conferences myself, and I have always talked about old ways, natural remedies, and had herbalists at everything that I do. I even have videos on simple things that most everybody can do, such as growing elderberries, using plantain. I make salve. I love jewelweed. I do a lot of the basic stuff. Elderberry, jewelweed. I grow comfrey like crazy. Thank you, Old Alabama Gardener. I have a lot of books. I actually last fall wanted to start taking some herbalist courses. Life didn't go that way for me. Maybe next year, maybe at the end of this year, okay? So I agree with a lot of old ways. I agree with a lot of granny witching. And I'm all for that. But what I am not for is when people slam other people for doing the very best that they can for their family. I don't subscribe to that. And I get really irritated at people like you that do these things. Not everybody can just get up, walk out into the woods like I can right now and just go crazy. I can forage all over and around my property, from mushrooms to berries to all kinds of interesting things here in Appalachia. Most of the population doesn't have that interest. Most of the population doesn't have that knowledge. You people that do that claim all these things that you do, I'd really like to know your credentials anyway. I think a lot of people just buy stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Somebody's got to be a producer and somebody's got to be a consumer. But when you get onto social media or talk to your friends and family and you slam them for having Tylenol in their medicine cabinet, you really need to get a life. You are a bad prepper, and let me tell you why. I said that. Oh my gosh, people's hair is on fire. A good prepper is going to understand that there are limitations in everything, and so they understand that they need to be what I would call well-versed in all preps, okay? So if the only thing that you do, I mean, if you're like the goat lady in Cold Mountain, you know what I'm talking about? The goat lady that saves, saves the day, and she's putting all the stuff, salves and stuff in the bullet wound in the throat, and she's saving Inman. I really doubt you live that life. I'd say that's probably somebody like that is like 1 in 25,100 million now. Okay. So if you understand that times are tough and people need medications and better health, you're also going to be smart enough that you have limited resources, most likely. So here's my point. If you don't own 100 or 1,000 or 500 acres or however many acres where you can just go out and freely forage the land and make all the tinctures, well, that means that you're probably getting things online. You might be growing some things in your backyard, but my point is if an SHTF scenario happens, you better be a good rifleman to be going out and foraging in these forests around here. I'm telling you right now, because you become predator bait on many levels. So my point is your foraging is probably going to go to only what you have on the patio or what you have in the backyard, and I would say that could be limited. Don't deny it. So because of this situation, because things will get very, very dangerous in a let's just say apocalyptic situation, you're not going to be foraging, and you're going to have to, in a lot of ways, rely on what resources you have and what you've put on your backstock. I would imagine that if you are an herbalist and that you are good with being a granny witch, I'm going to call you Granny Witch, I'm going to give you a compliment, then probably people will be coming to you for help. You know what that's going to do? That's going to drain your resources. I mean, unless you honestly do it 24/7 and you've got the acreage to support it, which somebody's going to comment and say, well, I don't, somebody's going to have to say something, so I'm already giving you a leadway. That's fine. But the majority of you don't. I'm going to highly recommend that whether or not you like Tylenol, Mucinex, or Robitussin, you put your little dab back in the backstock. You know why? Because it's going to save your rear end. Because when Billy Bob shows up and his baby's got a cough, he's not going to care if you give him Whorehound or Robitussin. He just wants you to fix the problem. And if you have such a hard time and have such a snobbery against Robitussin, then, it might be wise for you to be smart and say, I'm keeping this for me. I'm keeping this for my children. I'm keeping this for my mama and my husband. But I'm still going to be a giving heart and a helpful person. I've got Ricola to give out to people that are sick. I don't subscribe to this whole attitude that there is only one way to help yourself and help others. You may have preferences, and there may be things that you can't do, but there are other things you can. But you better it's called having a lot of versatility. When I was sick back in November, I did things that you're not supposed to talk about. Okay? And, I made it, and I'm here, and, proof is in the pudding of what works for me, but that doesn't mean that's necessarily going to work for everybody else. But within the things that I am proud to know that I did, I will tell you that Mucinex and some Tylenol, those I believe helped me too. When you're so down and out and sick, regardless of your ailment, and you're just trying to make it through that crisis of being sick, you're going to do anything that it takes to get through. Even if you have to even eat the holy don't do it Campbell's soup with the high sodium. I'm going to tell you right now, that was the only thing. When I was sick back last November and my husband was sick, you can ask him. Campbell's soup and Gatorade was about the only darn thing that I could even stomach. Now, I honestly believe a combination of things is what got us through. I've been doing this homesteading in these forums like this and worked with a lot of people. And I've seen a lot of ridiculous things. You know, we've already been through the whole situation over the, you know, when I got into making videos and whatever, it was like, you're not supposed to use any medications or dewormers on your animals. You are not, you, da-da-da-da-da-da. That's a bunch of crap. Let me tell you right now, if I get sick, my kid gets sick, my neighbor gets sick, my cow gets sick, I'm going to throw the kitchen sink to save them. I am. I am. If that means they're going to be nibbling on a little pine cone while taking Mucinex at the same time, so be it. The goal is to make it. And that's the point of a lot of the conversations that we've been having in recent months, is about supply chain shortages, pending crisis, hyperinflation, lots of disruption. We're trying to make it. We're not trying to tear people down for their decisions. We're trying to build people up to give them decisions. Understand that 99% of the people that you preach to are not going out and going to be finding herbal remedies today. Again, they're probably going to poison themselves if they do. So I'm sorry, I'm going to tell people, hey, winter is coming. Look into what works best for you. Do what works best for you. But at a basic situation, have basic things that most people can use and need, especially if you have children in the house. So stop the nonsense. If you want to dab a little bit of peppermint oil on you to make you feel better today, sister, you just go right on ahead and do it. Fine. I prefer lavender. But I'm not going to tell somebody that they shouldn't take Tylenol. Or if somebody's down and out throwing up and the only thing that helps them with the migraine is if they can stomach 2 ibuprofen, pop them. We got to get her better. Stop being silly. Nobody wants to hear this snobbery and ridiculous nonsense of, well, no. We're going to throw the kitchen sink at it. We're going to make people better. We're going to be prepared to be able to take care of us and to help others. You got to be smarter than this. You're smarter than this. I just think you want to pick a bone. Stop picking bones with people. If you don't like people taking Tylenol, mind your own dang business. It ain't up to you. Shouldn't be up to you. I shouldn't be telling you that you can't go out and eat, mulberry leaves and, whatever. Go do it. I don't care. But we're going to have to try to be more helpful with people. And that's the goal of my channel. And that is the goal of why I speak about things. Because I try to be in reality. And then somebody said, I only buy medications that are made in the United States. You trust that too? Really? Okay. We could debate on that one all day long. The point of this video is to do the best that you can for your family. Stop letting bullies and knuckleheads try to press down upon you for your decisions. I encourage people to be you know what I'm having for lunch? After I drink all my greens here, I'm having fresh quail eggs and a homegrown tomato for lunch. That's about as homesteady as it gets. Okay? I don't take a single medication. I don't. I'm going to be 46 years old. My doctor told me back in the spring that I am at perfect health, perfect weight, perfect levels for everything. Might be a little bat crap crazy. Hey, that's genetic. But the rest of me is great. So what I'm doing works for me. You have to find what works for you. And if I get a migraine, if I feel a little sick and I feel like I need Tylenol or ibuprofen, I'm going to take it because I got a lot of work to do. If I start getting sick, instead of developing pneumonia, if I think taking a Mucinex is going to pull me up out of the darkness, I'm going to take it. Because the last thing I need is pneumonia. I might sip a little herbal tea after I do so and rest. And you know what? I will be slurping on my Campbell's chicken noodle soup at the same time. Because that's what works for me. Stock your pantries every which way that you can. Don't limit yourself. I'm not saying go and buy every single bit of children's Tylenol on the countertop. Okay? I'm saying doesn't hurt to have 1 or 2 tucked away. You don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know what's coming down the pike. Neither do I. We are not the gods of the earth and of nature and can predict these things. There is only one God. And He wants us to do the best that we can. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, and if you still have your doubts, then simply sit down and pray. He's going to guide you. I know what I need to do today, and that is to stand up for people that are getting pushed down. I want to remind you, keep forging ahead. There is no such thing as being too prepared. There's stuff on my shelf I don't eat, but it's got a long-term shelf, and you know what? I'm not foolish enough to think it's got a long-term shelf life. I'm not foolish enough to stand around and go, I'll never eat that. I'll never drink that. I'll never take that. I'll never do that. You haven't been hungry and you haven't faced death if that's your attitude. Woe unto you when that day comes, because from what I understand, it's pretty darn bad. I'm going to try my best to not have that attitude, and I encourage everyone out there to do the same. Like, subscribe, share, shake a. Stay busy and don't listen to the knucklehead numbskulls. Because remember, they're not the ones showing up to help you. They are not the ones paying your bills. They are not the ones raising your children. They are not the ones that show up to feed you and feed your cows when your dog's sick on the couch. Remember that. You do for you. And we'll see you, honey, on the next video.